Fresh off the mail truck is Torch, one of the Cobra Dreadnoks from the G.I. Joe Classified series. The Dreadnok sub-team within Cobra is rounding itself off very nicely. We have all of our leaders like Zartan, Zorana, we have Ripper, Buzzer, and now we have Torch. And for the most part, I would say the Dreadnoks are a really great sub-team. Like, the only misstep, I feel, is Buzzer, and that's just mostly due to the fact that the glasses don't really stick on his face. We don't have that problem with Torch because they are molded right on his face. At least, I think they're molded on. Yeah, they're most definitely molded on, which is going to save us a lot of heartache. So we're going to be able to take a look at this very over-the-top character from G.I. Joe Classified and see if he fits within the world, the context of Classified, and not only that, but we're going to compare him with the original figure from Real American Hero and show you the upgrades that have happened. I'm really excited about this one, mostly due to the fact that his blowtorch just looks amazing. Let's just take a quick glimpse at the packaging on this one. There is a slight modification. It's got the windowed packaging. It feels like it's a smaller box than what I remember. Also, like, this part right here is very standardized on the front, and then as we turn it, we have our typical, I guess, specializations of Torch, and then on this side we have some of the key character art, and then on the back we have an awesome toy photography shop that looks really cool. One thing that I wanted to point out is that the blowtorch is kind of hidden on the packaging, and I think that is something that should have been front and center along with the figure because it is such a cool accessory if the back box art is to be believed. Not only is it a blowtorch with a really cool fire effect, it also has like a skull that's open and it's like shooting the flames. Like, when you're dealing with Cobra, that's the kind of accessories that you definitely want to be promoting. Alright, here we go. Torch is out of the box. So to start with, here is the blowtorch unit that I was telling you about. Out of the eyes, there is some flames coming out of it. That is like a really heavy metal accessory. I love that. But not only that, you get... I just thought it was the one fireball, and I didn't really... my brain didn't register it, but there's also another flame effect here, so let's just put that in there, just so we can get kind of like an early sneak peek at this really cool accessory. look at that. Oh my gosh. Yes, the way that it gradients through the translucency there, this is already a phenomenal accessory. I hope the rest of the figure is going to match, so let's just get everything out. We'll load him up and, you know, just go over some of the normal stuff that we do. We'll talk about what we like, what we don't like, anything I would have changed. It took a little bit of time, but I got him out of the packaging. Here is Torch in all of his glories, and glorious mold and sculpt, as you can see on his back jean pockets. There are flame emblems. Paint? I don't know. Well, I mean, it's paint because it's a toy, but I don't know if they're supposed to be like a patch or if it's just supposed to be painted on his jeans to go with the whole fire ensemble. But just a brief overview of this character, there is so much to like about him. The details, everything with the chains around the vest, around the belt, around the... what are these called? These are called wrists? They're called wrists. Like... It is selling this very biker gang style character. Like this, like if you didn't know anything else, you would see that this would go along with all of the other Dreadnoks. He does have a little bit of wobble, nothing that I'm too concerned about, and he does have a nice T-cut in his chest there, so he can kind of crank back quite a bit. And I'm surprised at just how far he can lean forward. That's a great feature, because usually what ends up happening is that these vests get in the way, but I think there's just enough cut here where it kind of leans forward with him without making it look like it's coming up over his head. He's got the pinless elbows, he's got the pinless knees, and let's see how well the butterfly joints work on his shoulders. They're a little tight, okay. But then we are going to move down to the knees. Oh, that is a good moving figure. He has quite the range back there. And then the ankles rock forward and back, side to side, as we've come to expect with most Hasbro 6-inch figures. I think his backpack is reused from Barbecue, but it's been a while since I've gotten Barbecue out of like the back rows up there, so I'm just going to assume that yes. Has your G.I. Joe tube that is pretty standard across all figures. From Real American Hero on to Classified. This is just a staple of accessories at this point. But the piece de resistance, right, is his blowtorch, considering that his name is Torch. If we want maximum awesomeness, we attach the hose to the blowtorch, so that way he's getting a constant supply of it. And there he is. Oh, we forgot to put his pistols. Oh, we need to get those. But yeah, so he's a very symmetrical figure that way. And let's swap out this blast effect because this is a little too dangerous for me. We're just gonna get where it's just barely igniting. So yeah, not one, not two, but three different effects for his blowtorch. And there he is. I think from here what we gotta do is we gotta take him over to the table, and then we'll loop it back up and talk about my final thoughts for Torch here. So here we have Torch way up close at the table. There's just so much detail with this figure that it's unbelievable. They really sold the idea that this is our blowtorch specialist for the Dreadnoks. The design, the accessory kit, the fun little details here are all amazing. There is one thing that I do not like, and it's these little flaps that come up from his boots. They are very soft. And when I was trying to pose him a little bit, I could already tell that these were starting to bend and twirl. So if he were going to be in a kneeling position for a long time, you can expect these boots to deform, or I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's hard to say, I guess, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were. The other issue that I had were these holsters strapped around his thighs. They were kind of wobbly and going all over the place, but honestly, that's an issue with a lot of G.I. Joe classified figures, not exclusive to Torch here. So really, it's these boots. I think these are reuse from Dr. Mindbender, but correct me if I'm wrong. So I did mention that he has three separate blowtorch accessories. There's this one. This is the one I like the most just because it has the most gradient with the translucency. There's this giant fireball. This is going to be like it's just coming out of the blowtorch there. And then here is the pilot light. This is just a tiny little flame. So if this were sitting idle, this is basically how I would display him, because these come out quite a ways, and having a little more compact space on the shelf is going to help us with Torch here. Taking a look at his backpack, there is a spot for this mechanism here, so for the blowtorch part. I don't know if it's like a blowtorch gun, or I don't know what it's called, but it's going to be able to seat back here. And we can get an idea of what that looks like by doing that. And if you are curious, yes, the necklace is a separate piece. If I were to remove his head, I could place this on another figure. And in fact, like, the vest probably would work for a lot of other figures too. Marvel Legends, Ghost Rider, I'm thinking of specifically. And we're gonna get a really close-up look at the face sculpt, and I really like the fact that they put the wraparound sunglasses on him and that they're molded directly onto the face. That is going to give us the most secure fit and the most classic look for Torch. Like I said I was going to do, I'm going to put Torch on this side here, and I'll put a picture of the old Real American Hero Torch so that we can get a comparison. One detail that I don't think is appreciated enough is just how well the paint application is done with Torch. I mean, we have the pockets on the back of his jeans. We also have this chain, but as you can see here, the chain doesn't bleed over the belt loops, so you get a really sense of like how much attention to detail has been put on Torch here. And then even the leather jacket, right? Because the silver would offset very clearly against the black, and I don't see like anything that I would be like, oh gosh, how did they miss that? Like this is all looking very clean. We can see the zippers, and then even like there's like the zipper pull right there. You can see that there's just a tiny little dot of black. So like very much like attention to detail here. All right, Torch, what do you say? Let's light this candle. Torch is what I love about G.I. Joe Classified. He is just kind of a goofy-looking character if you were just to kind of pluck him out of place in the G.I. Joe universe and put him in any other sort of toy line. He would just be way too over the top, way too aggressive, but I think in the G.I. Joe world, Cobra specifically, he fits perfectly. And not only that, but he looks great next to all of the other Dreadnoks. And I would say this is probably one of the topper tier Dreadnoks so far. The top ones, of course, being Zartan, Ripper, and now we have Torch. The articulation is good, the design and sculpt is really good, and I love the fact that they just put the glasses on him. Because in all honesty, It is nice to have the option to take the glasses off on some figures, but what I've been noticing is that it's often more hassle than it's worth. So it saves just a little bit of fiddling with the figure so you can just get down to some of the other accessories, which there are plenty here, and they all revolve around fire and flames, which is something that you would want from a character named Torch. So with Torch, we have a lot of flame accessories, and we're not getting a lot of just run-of-the-mill pistols, machine guns, firearms, stuff like that. We're getting something custom for the character, custom for the type of dastardly deeds this Cobra figure does. The G.I. Joe Classified line continues to be on a hot streak. It doesn't show signs of slowing down. If you are on the fence about getting Torch and you are somebody who does collect G.I. Joe Classified figures, this is one to add. There's not much about this figure that would make me say to somebody like, whoa, hold off on this guy, because he comes with so many great accessories that are true to the character, true to his name even. So that's it. That's everything I know about Torch. And if you are somebody who loves G.I. Joe Classified or just 6-inch scale action figures, that's something that I collect a lot of myself. If you like pop culture, other sorts of action figures, I collect those too, wouldn't you know? And then also I have a bunch of Nerf blasters, which kind of goes along with the whole action theme, don't you think? But what I do know is that you need to hit that subscribe button, follow along, whatever it takes to get more of these videos, because just like Torch, I'm on fire with releasing videos. That's it. Thank you so much for watching.